made it, but a lot of you are a great distance away. First off, I want to let you know that gun safety is very serious. If you have weapons in your home, you should be very cautious with them. Make sure you're properly trained, as is everyone in your home. Age-appropriate training, of course, but no age is too early to start. We got a little rain and thunderstorm going on here today, so this is a good time for me to come from outside and stop putting up fence, chasing animals, and tending farm business, and take a few minutes here with you about gun safety. I'm going to show you a slide here over top of what we're doing. And so this is kind of my first test of my board here. And so with that said, hopefully when this video is complete and finished, you'll actually see words up here that I've video edited on later. I was going to use my projector and project them, but I've already tested that and that works, so I'm trying to whiteboard some images up here. Alright, so my name is Michael Holland. Many of you know me. I live in North Carolina. Purpose of this video is to be educational. I do not claim liability for anything that you may learn here. Please always be cautious, use your best judgment, and verify all things before assuming it to be fact. Alright, and so we're going to step aside here, and hopefully you'll see this on your screen. The purpose of this class will be to introduce and or refamiliarize all of us with the following. Weapon safety as a general rule. In this class, on the range, and in a stress setting. We'll also be going over to how to holster, check, hand over, receive, load, unload, and present a firearm. Basically, weapon handling. We'll also be going over how to improve your accuracy through proper technique using your weapon. In this particular class, we'll be discussing handgun accuracy. We'll talk about more advanced shooting scenarios that you may encounter, and we will go over these. We'll also go over some, we'll talk about some, but they will not be demonstrated for you. Some more advanced things for you to consider. We're also going to talk about deadly force, the taking of life, and things to be mindful of in those circumstances. Once all these things are covered in this class, and you can display your safety skills that have been covered, i.e. you can safety check your weapon, holster, transfer your weapon, load, unload, and present a proper firing stance. I'll be covering any questions in this in-person class, and obviously you'll have to email me questions through this video class. Then, for the purpose of this class, we'll be going out to the range and actually getting some range time. Alright, you should see on this board, should have seen that on the board, those meetings. If not, I'll make those available to you. There's 4 basic weapons safety rules. Depending on where you go, this is how you'll be presented these 4 rules. This is true in a classroom setting. This is true in your car, in your home, in the military, in the police work, law enforcement, corrections, fishing, hunting, or going out on a date or whatever. These weapons do not alter safety rules. You may add some based on location. In other words, you may go someplace that they have more requirements than these. But the 4 basic ones are always the same. You want to treat every weapon as though it's loaded at all times. That's even if you find a weapon that is unloaded, you know it's unloaded, you've cleared it, unloaded, still treat that weapon as it's loaded at all times. May seem a little excessive, but why do you do that? You do that because you want to make certain that it becomes habit, it becomes what you do, and that way you never have a mistake. And so, how are you going to treat a weapon all the time? As though it's loaded. Never point the muzzle toward a non-target. So I've removed my weapon from its holster, and I have to maintain it in a safe direction. Obviously, I do not want to shoot my floor, and you'll notice my fingers on the trigger. We'll go to that shortly, but I'll keep it in a safe direction. This is not a safe direction. What goes up will come down. Mythbusters did a thing that rounds are not lethal when they come down, but let's not put too much trust in TV. Be vigilant about preventing potential lethal accidents. It only takes one slip and somebody is dead, crippled, and there's a lifetime of consequences behind that, and perhaps an eternity of them. Keep the weapon aimed in a safe direction at all times. If there's not a safe direction, aim it in the safest direction possible. Don't point the muzzle at anything you don't want destroyed. Finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. When that weapon comes out, notice I'm in a firing position other than my trigger finger. My Taurus actually has a divot, an index divot, so you can know right where that's at. Different weapons will operate differently. Do not place your finger in that trigger wheel until you are ready to fire, not contemplating firing. Okay, fourth rule is be aware of your target and what's beyond. That's Johnny Hyatt's phrase. It was always given to me, be aware of your surroundings and those of your target. Now what does that mean exactly? If I draw and I'm firing, what's beyond you? What's beyond the target? Is there a school? Is there a bush that somebody may be hiding in? Are they standing beside a propane tank? Are they, you know, a dozen different scenarios? The conventional wisdom is be aware of what your target beyond. It's always given to me a situational awareness. If I'm going to pull a sidearm and aim it, I need to know where that round that I'm going to discharge is going. I also need to know what's around in general that may present danger for me once I fire. So I'm going to step clear here, and these 4 rules should display for you. Again, those 4 rules are: treat all firearms as if they're loaded. Never point the muzzle toward non-targets. Be vigilant about preventing potential lethal accidents. Always have your muzzle aimed toward a safe direction. Third rule is finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire. If the trigger isn't triggered, the weapon can't fire. Only place your finger in the guard or on the trigger when it's time to fire. Weapon drops, you get startled, you get bumped, fall, accidents happen. Leave your finger off the trigger, and these accidental fires can be prevented, potentially saving a life. Fourth rule is be aware of your target, what's around and beyond. Your fire may impact other objects or persons in the area and beyond. Be aware of environmental dangers and possible collateral damage. Collateral damage is a really nice way of saying anything you don't want to shoot that's valuable. Your kids, your wife, your friend, a random friendly person, all of these things can be considered collateral damage. Your 50-inch TV. Always be aware, one moment of mental lapse can mean an eternity of change, loss, and pain. Alright, so now we're actually going to go over, hopefully you saw that graphic. Now we're actually going to go over presentation and receiving a weapon and how we go about that. First off, those 4 rules I went over, those apply in this class. They apply when you're watching this video and trying at home. They apply when you find a weapon out on the street. They apply when your buddy at the range wants to hand you a weapon. They apply when you're out hunting. They apply all the time. There is no exception here. All rules apply all the time. Alright, first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull that weapon out. We're going to keep our safety rules. There's my fingers on the trigger. Weapon's in a safe direction. My weapon has come out of holster. It was already in the safe position. I have verified that it's in the safe. Alright, my weapon's in the safe. This next step, depending on who you communicate with, they may or may not tell you this. I do it every time the weapon leaves my custody. As I remove my magazine, place your magazine someplace safe. I verify this weapon is clear. Still going to treat this weapon as it's loaded. Still going to maintain all safety rules. This next step, depending on who you communicate with, may or may not be something they have you do. I do it just as a matter of habit. Anytime someone hands me a weapon, I'm going to visually inspect it. Make sure it looks operable, no cracks, divots, breaks, anything that's going to cause it to malfunction. Now, if I'm going to depend on this weapon, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to rotate it and make sure there's a firing pin and all that mechanism looks in good working order. Well, why do you do that? I do that because if I hammer back down this weapon, load my magazine, I want to make sure that what I'm thinking is deadly force at my disposal actually is deadly force at my disposal. Okay, I've removed the magazine, I've cleared the weapon. Now, I'm going to present that weapon out, slide back in a known, safe, non-functioning manner. Hold on to the weapon. Hold the weapon. You know, I've been in one situation where a guy kind of loosey-goosey went to present me a weapon for inspection. It was a brother in faith, and someone else there that was not familiar with weapons just snatched it out of his hand and went to waving it around. And so I kind of added to my little internal, I hang on to it like I mean it. I do that as a normal, but obviously when you're ready to turn it over, you know, sometimes you hang on to it till you know they have it. You got it, that way there's no drop, no damage to your weapon, and you maintain in case a third party wants to grab it, you know, for whatever reason. You present it, slide open, there you go. Now, someone's handed me this weapon, or I've come across this weapon and I found it. All right, I'm gonna pick this weapon up. If it's a crime scene, please do not get your fingerprints on the weapon. Use some common sense and due diligence here. If I pick this weapon up, it was not handed to me. Perhaps I'm coming to visit someone and something is way out of order, something's way out of line, and I'm not armed. My first mistake. But there is a weapon at my disposal. What am I going to do? I'm going to place that weapon on safety first. I'm going to remove the magazine. I'm going to inspect to see if it's a 17, 19 round mag, how many rounds are in it. Then I'm going to follow the steps through. Place it back, slide open. I do a visual inspection, make sure the weapon is sound. Once I do that, I've received the weapon. That's the same as if you hand me this weapon, I receive it to you. You know, I can see mag is out, no chamber, nothing in chamber. Everything's good working order. Now, we have to get it ready to work. Take and tap that round in. That's assuming you're ready to fire. For the purpose of this class, you know, be mindful. You know, when I carry a weapon, I carry it with a round chambered and on safe. If you don't want a round chambered, then slide forward, put that weapon away. All right, that weapon is safe. That's what you do that in presenting and receiving, and also in discovery. If you discover it. All right, I'll step to the side, and hopefully on my board here, you will see these steps in the presentation, receiving, or discovery of a weapon. And just to go over them again, first reminder, observe all safety rules in every step. Place or check to make sure the weapon is on safe. Give a visual inspection for function, safety, and operability as best you can as circumstances allow. Remove the magazine if applicable. Clear the weapon, leaving the slide open if possible. Some weapons do not support that. Present the weapon, slide open, barrel down, muzzle down, hold firm until taken. And this again is the same even if you find this weapon in a different location and it is not presented to you. For example, I store my weapon in my vehicle sometimes. I lock it up. When I go into places that don't support conceal and carry, open carry. And when I go back, and I have people look at me like I'm a nut. They're sitting there when I lock my weapon in the box. 30 minutes later, I unlock it, take it out, I clear it, inspect it, check for operability, and carry it. Now we're going to talk about marksmanship accuracy. All right, marksmanship accuracy. I'm going to step right over here and get a marker so I can mark on this board. All right, what we're going to talk about here in marksmanship accuracy, first thing you want to make sure is you hold the weapon. Keep a firm grip on the weapon. You know, you ain't got to hold it to your white knuckle, but hang on to it until you are done with it and then put it away in a safe location. All right, so now we're going to talk about obtaining. We're not going to go over a standing stance. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the three components. This is your rear sight on many handguns. This is your front sight, your front peg, or post, depending on which terminology you're familiar with. Then of course, there's your target downrange, whether that be a person or whatever it may be, target, person, etc. So what you want to be able to do is draw your weapon, assume a stance, take aim, and hit the target. All right, so how do we make these look? What is your sight picture? What's that sight picture supposed to be? I'm going to need a paper towel in just 1 second. All right, so here we go. This is not complicated. It does vary some for weapon to weapon, and you may have to change yours based on your weapon. Just generally, most manufacturers' weapons are going to come Alright, so there you go. You're going to take this post, you're going to bring it level across your rear sight, your front post across your rear sight level, make it one continuous piece of metal. You're going to put the center line of that post down the center line of your target. I can't even draw straight. Down the center line of your target, and then you're going to develop this sight picture right here. I'm going to display this slide for you so you can get a very good look at what it should look like. But again, you're going to take this post, you're going to pitch it. Pitching your weapon will adjust this post forward and rear, up and down. Once you get it level across, you're going to make sure it's level across, centered on your target. Bang, bang, bang. Do not try to be too fast. Now you can do some exercises. You notice my weapon is in a safe position right now. And so you can do some exercises. I would recommend if you're going to do them, know that the weapon is empty. Treat it as loaded anyway. Place your weapon in safe and you can practice. You want to be able to do this quick. You want to use your dominant eye. You want to be able to do it quick. Biggest problem that most people hear is their focus. You got a 3-stage focus, and that's why this picture is drawn this way. When I pull and draw, focus rear, post, target. Rear, post, target. Rear, post, target. It has to happen fast, unless you got slow adversaries. Rear, post. Your weapon may have some divots. If it does, I suggest you get some color in them, because once you got that color, you'll be able to quickly line those colors up and develop this sight picture. Even a very cheap, crappy, high point pistol is going to shoot a very good group if you can keep it pictured correctly. Now obviously, the further out you go, if I was, for example, shooting this same target here and it was very close up on me, you know, it may be more like this. But that's fine. That's your business point right there. All right. You're going to breathe normal. Sight picture is most important. Sight picture is going to get your first round off. Bang! After first round, in theory, you shouldn't need a round after that. Now I'm going to step back and hopefully display the graphic on this screen. And we're going to go over the balancing points after I do so. I'm going to erase my screen right here first. Alright. Alright, so we got sight picture. Like I say, that's most important. If you don't have sight picture, what I'm getting ready to tell you next, if you have no ability to line up those sights, you might as well go on back to playing Xbox or watching The Liars on TV or whatever it is you're going to do. Okay, next thing you're going to do is breathe normal. What good is it if any of you have been in my hand-to-hand, basic hand-to-hand, or more advanced classes? I've told you, breathe normal. Stay calm. I know that's hard, but don't start. Don't do that. You know, you're heaving, your chest muscles work against you. Stay calm. Don't rush. If as fast as you can go is bang, bang, bang. You know, it's better that you put 3 shots downrange over a 5-second period and strike the target 3 times than to put 15 rounds downrange in 5 seconds and miss your target completely. So don't rush or panic. Pull the trigger smoothly, smooth all the way through. Don't anticipate a bang or a jerk. Just pull the trigger easy. You're not trying to lift a 5-gallon bucket of rocks, so just very calmly, easily pull that trigger all the way down. Follow through after the shot. What does that mean? Again, when you fire, bang! You're going to get a little bit of recoil. When you get that recoil, let the recoil work itself out. As you fire, you'll learn how fast you can compensate. Don't start getting all crazy and trying to get rounds off faster than you can and fight the weapon. Work with the weapon. Okay, fire until you are certain. What does that mean, Brother Mike? Let me tell you what fire until you are certain means. If it's a big guy or a small guy, it doesn't matter. Maybe he's got on a vest, maybe he don't. Maybe he's got on a winter coat. You're not sure, so you go bang! Don't wander off and start calling 911. It's like, oh my God, I killed somebody. If they're worth 1 round, they're worth 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever you feel comfortable with. My general rule of thumb is 3. But as a general rule, if you have ever been out shooting with me, I'm a 5 guy because I want to have 3 in target, so I like to put out 5. Just so I know that I got 3 for sure. Be sure you're going to get 3 where to go anyway. But bang, 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 bang. Be sure. Wounded people can't kill you. All right. Fire until you're certain. Be mindful. Be mindful. That's one of the most important parts about weapon discharge. You need to be mindful of your ammo. You need to be mindful of your surroundings and the conditions and so forth. Now, what does all that entail? Well, if I'm out, out and about and I'm pumping gas, and all of a sudden it comes to a point I have to use my weapon, and I pull my weapon, and I have to fire on a gangbanger. Are there 12 other gangbangers around? Is he standing beside the propane tank where I'm shooting him? Is me putting fire on him going to blow me up? You need to be mindful and be aware of these things. So, control rate of fire, accurate fire, deadly fire, planned reloads, and confirmation shots. I'm going to go over these. They're important, so I'm going to give them to you. Go over these points. Control rate of fire. Your control rate of fire, my control rate of fire, someone else's control rate of fire, they're all going to vary based on your confidence, your ability, your skills, and your weapon. Bang, 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 bang. That rate of fire intimidates me a lot more than bang, 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 bang. Because if someone is shooting like that, they're probably not striking a good target. They probably lost control and they're in what I call panic fire. And that's okay, because I'm not going to be in panic fire, so that's great. Now, there are some people who can shoot that fast. Most people are not going to shoot a 1-inch group at 50 or 75 feet at that rate of fire. Put your rounds where you want them. You're not going to scare anybody to death. You may scare them, but not to death. The only person to die because you missed will not be the person you want it to. So that's control rate of fire. Accurate fire. Showed you on the board. Keep your rounds where you want them to go. Account for them. Deadly fire. Do not shoot them in the knees. Do not shoot them in the arm. There's a lot of reasons that that's not wise. But basically, when you pull your sidearm and you're ready to go to work, you should have already made a determination that lethal force is authorized. Lethal force is required. Lethal force is imperative. And if not, then you should stick with conflict resolution, talking, whatever. This has one use, and wounding is not it. So it's kind of like using a hammer to try to drive in a screw. Don't do it. When you pull it, mean it, deadly fire. For a lot of people, the conventional world will tell you that's center of mass. Headshots are difficult for poor marksmen based on conditions and so forth. Lower abdomen is what some people prefer. What I prefer does not matter. It's what you feel confident and what you are able to put fire on in a stressful situation. Deadly fire. Planned reloads. All right, well, we're not in the movies and we're not on TV. And so when we pull our weapon, we're bang, 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 bang. And in my case, I get to round number 19. I'm going to go click. And my weapon's going to be like this. Oh, no. Now I got to find a mag, load a mag, da, da, da. I'm not expecting it. The guy wasn't expecting it, so forth and so on. Count your rounds as best you can. A whole lot better to drop that magazine out and change it. Slide in and one in, and you actually, lose count and drop 2 rounds in a magazine on the ground, then that slide be open, you get caught with your pants down. Plan on it. Confirmation shots. Confirmation shots. That goes back to deadly fire. An assailant, an attacker comes at you, bang, bang, you don't get a chance to get very many rounds off. He hits the ground. Legally, it is against the law in every state, pretty much, to use a confirmation shot. Bang! In other words, you can't let him hit the ground, be neutral, and then put another round in to confirm that he's a casualty. And they will know. This is the age of CSI, and so they will know. So bang, bang, bang. Any rounds you think you might need, put in them to neutralize the situation. Don't put rounds in later. All right. I should be displaying that graphic on the screen now. We can hope so anyway. Give you just a second to look at that. Again, the points to be covered here. Maintain a firm hold on the weapon at all times. Attain proper aim. That's that sight picture. You should see the graphic there. Top of the graphic is target. Then the correct alignment. The post front sight, the open rear sight, and what the correct sight picture should look like. Pause this video, print screen it, do something. Make sure you can attain that picture. Breathe normal, don't rush or panic. Pull your trigger smoothly and all the way through. Follow through with pulling that trigger. Follow through after the shot. Don't fight the weapon. It's going to have recoil, and you're going to have trigger time, range time, and comfort with following through on those shots. Fire until you're sure. Once you pull that weapon and start burping brass, do not stop until the situation is well under control and the threat of violence to you or your loved ones is neutralized. Be mindful. Ammo count, surroundings, conditions, etc. Don't blow yourself up. Control rate of fire, accurate fire, deadly fire, plan, reload, confirmation. We went over those already. Alright, so now we're toward the end of this class. The classroom portion, if you were here, we'd be getting ready to go out on the range after you demonstrated that you could safely handle this weapon. Now we did kind of go over that quickly, but that's the benefit of video. You can pause it, roll back, and look at it again many times as you need to. Alright, there's a couple things to consider in use of force and deadly force, and those are liabilities. I can't stress enough that deadly force is forever. It's going to be a forever situation. And so many of you know that I'm a man of faith, and I bring the word of the Most High, Yah. And so there's two costs. One of those liabilities is worldly liabilities. They're not particularly important to me, but I do. That does not mean I don't consider them. The most important for me is the eternal liability that we take. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is worldly liability, because that's what most people are concerned with. And it certainly is something you need to be mindful of, and I am, and considerate of. When you pull this weapon and you fire, know that as soon as you pull this weapon, you're facing criminal liability. You are under the threat of criminal charges, a loss of freedom, a loss of liberty, a loss of rights, and possibly death sentence. You know, our country already looks at us, although we have a right to carry weapons, already looks at us suspect because we bought it. Then they doubly look at us suspect because we carry it. And so know that when you pull it, if you actually put fire on someone and you terminate a human life, you may face criminal charges. So make sure that you are mindful of that and only do it in a legitimate circumstance where you're convinced that 12 men or women of your peers will see likewise. In most cases, if it's a valid shoot, you're not going to be charged, hopefully. But then again, just know that you are exposed to that. All right, otherworldly consequences, civil liability. You know what? It's a good shoot. I'm sitting here making this video. Two guys bust this door down. They're cracked up on drugs, and they want to rob my house and kill me and my family. And I terminate them. Perfectly legal shoot. Perfectly legitimate use of force. I'm under no criminal charge. Guess what? Their family can sue me for wrongful death. They can say, well, they can do a lot of different craps. But anyway, anybody can sue you for anything at any time. And so what does that mean? Well, that means they'll own everything you own. And every dollar you make for the rest of your life will go to pay whoever is his surviving family member that sued you. Otherworldly concerns, self-guilt, self-hate, revenge from that person's loved ones, gang members, buddies, whatever. And what other social costs you want to put in there. Be mindful of those things. Think about it. Be considerate before you buy a weapon, before you use a weapon, before you carry a weapon, before you pull a weapon, before you use the weapon. Make sure you're comfortable with it. All right, so now we're going to get to what's very important. Eternal liabilities. Elohim, Yah, creator of the universe, gave his only begotten Son to save those who would seek, serve, and accept him. And what is a sinner worth to the Most High? Obviously, the wicked, he has no concern for. He's got a lake of fire for them. Unless you are superior to myself, I do not know who may come out of wickedness at some point in their life. And so if there's a 14-year-old boy that's broken your house and unhooking your plasma TV, and you terminate his life, I can let you know that the Spirit's very clear to me, for my own personal feelings and interpretation, that would be out of order. Now, if someone is in here and hurting a family member, or it's unclear, you get in other areas. But remember that the sixth commandment is, thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not murder does not mean thou shalt not defend thyself. It does not mean thou shalt not carry a weapon. In fact, the New Testament makes clear that if you do not have a weapon, to go and buy one with your purse. And if you don't have enough money in your purse, like many Americans don't, then you are to sell clothes and go buy yourself one. But self-defense is not murder. So there's a very thin line. My personal belief is in 9 out of 10 circumstances, only you will know whether it was murder or self-defense, other than the Most High. But rest assured, he will know. And there's no loopholes with him there. Property is worth less than people 100% of the time, all the time, no matter the property or no matter the person. Wow. But Mike, I really like my car. Okay, that's great. I'll say it again. Property is worth less than people 100% of the time, all the time, no matter the property, no matter the person. If you're looking out in your front yard and somebody's breaking in your car, and you go out there and you go, hey, I'm calling the police, that may be okay. If you're going to open the front door and go, pop, 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 that's murder. So be aware of that in my interpretation. Make sure you work it out. I don't have a heaven to reward you with or hell to send you to. I just want to make sure that, when I give a weapons safety class, I'm concerned about you deploying it safely, using it safely, not winding up in prison, and most importantly, not winding up in a lake of fire, eternal damnation. So, make decisions now when you have no emotions involved and no adrenaline, because in that emergency situation at 3 o'clock in the morning, when you're walking out to the car from wherever it is you're at 3 o'clock in the morning, got no business being, or half asleep in your bed, or whatever, you don't have to think about it right then. What's going on? What should I do? Do I really want to shoot this guy? I bought this gun, but I really don't know if I, work it out before then. Don't wait till then. All right, so I'm going to clear my board here so we can go over these points. All right, use of deadly force. 2 types of liabilities, worldly, or 2 categories, worldly and eternal. Your worldly considerations are criminal charges, loss of liberty, rights, and life. Civil liabilities include loss of everything you own and or will own. Self-guilt, revenge, and other social costs. Obviously, be aware of these. That's why, if you have to use lethal force, it's for a purpose to preserve life. And so, these concerns are not all that important. Your eternal liability, as I just went over, the Most High created all life and created all persons. So please make sure that you are mindful of that and don't disrespect his creation. We're given dominion over all the earth. All right. Last thing I'll kind of go over in this class, this video portion of this class is when you carry this weapon, when you carry your weapon, it is an important decision for you to make as to whether you're going to carry it around chambered, in which case you chamber it and carry it, or whether you're going to carry the weapon without one chambered. And that's your choice to make. But just be mindful. Treat all weapons that you carry and all weapons that are handed to you as though one is chambered and safety is offered to you. Verify otherwise. Be encouraged. Wish you could all be here. Unfortunately, we don't have teleport technology. After the King comes, we'll all move at the speed of thought, so we can all be everywhere at all times and fellowship. But of course, then we won't need weapons, so we won't have that class at that time. All right, be encouraged. The King is coming. Bless you.